I was in London the other day, right, and I stumbled across a really cool car meet. I mean, there's nothing more exciting being a car enthusiast than just randomly stumbling across a car meet. And I can't lie, it's probably one of the best I've been to. There was R32s, there was S2000s, it was a proper JDM car meet. And obviously being in my Mazda MX-5, I had to pull up next to another MX-5. And there was this really nice dark blue NB, and it was really nice. It was on some nice wheels, it was slightly lowered, it was a really nice car. And when I was about to leave the car meet, I started talking to the owner, who was a really nice guy. And, you know, we both start talking about our Mazdas, because, you know, we pretty much have the same car. However, the funny part is, right, his was apparently, quote unquote, one of a kind. Now, I've heard about people saying this about their cars before, but I didn't know it was actually true. But to think that you've put a few mods on your car doesn't make it one of a kind. And I mean, it's not to say that it's like, you know, your car's the same as everyone else's. So, of course, it's slightly different. But when people say it's one of a kind, they're painting it out to be some sort of one-off, ultra-rare car. But I think it's funny, especially with things like MX-5s where they're so common. And I know it happens a lot in America with Corvettes, because there's so many different trims and special editions, like they're like, it's one of a kind, there's none similar to this. But it is funny how it's really common with cars like MX-5s and Corvettes, because they're such common cars that people try and look to make theirs different from the rest. I mean, I guess in a way it's sort of a marketing thing like car manufacturers do. Obviously the different additions and trims they give to cars make it seem a bit more interesting. And I mean, some higher trims are really cool. Like you've got the Mazda Speed MX-5, which is obviously a turbo version, which is wicked. But I mean, for example, mine's an Arctic edition, which it's just an MX-5 with a few more fancy features. Like it has heated seats and it's got quite a nice, you know, metallic grey. But it's definitely not one of a kind. And I mean, when it comes to modding your car, unless you do something crazy with your car, it's still not one of a kind. I do think though this could be a controversial one, so let me know what you think in the comments. You know, we might have different opinions on this. I've mentioned this friend on my videos before, but basically he really wanted an S2000. He spent the past 5 years saving for one. I'm not even lying about this story, right? And instead of buying an S2000, he bought a Mercedes SL instead. And I'm not gonna lie to you, right? His reasoning for buying the Mercedes over the S2000 was genuinely to impress girls. And he's still paying off the Mercedes, which is the crazy part. He had enough money to buy the S2000 up front, but he chose to finance a Mercedes. I mean, it's so sad because the S2000 is going to appreciate in price and he's going to actually love the S2000. But instead, he bought a car which he doesn't even love, which is going to depreciate so much over time just to impress other people with. I mean, you should never buy something like a car for other people. You should buy it for your own enjoyment. Especially, right, when you've been saving up for your dream car for that long and instead you buy something else. That's gonna lose you money. Like, it's such a stupid decision. Honestly, the whole friend group never lets him forget this. But never ever buy an object for attention, because it doesn't work. At the end of the day, no one's gonna care more than yourself. And especially girls, then they're not gonna care about what car you drive most of the time. I don't want to get too deep, but if you are attracting girls because of your car, they're not the kind of girls you're going to want to attract anyway. And especially don't go out of your way to finance a car you can't afford just to impress other people with. This is even more stupid. But as I say in most of my videos, you know, it's your own money and you can do what you want with it. Now, the next sort of car guy is a car guy who I see more online than I see in person. You can find these people in car forums or YouTube comments, and they typically seem to base cars off of one simple thing, which is, unfortunately, statistics. They are the stats car guys, or spec sheet nerds, or whatever you want to call them. The thing is, right, I feel like car enthusiasts are caring less and less about 0 to 60 time and even top speed. A lot of new cars are really quick. Even just your average everyday A to B cars are getting pretty fast now. The thing is, right, if we all actually just cared about 0 to 60 time, we would all just own a Tesla. But we don't. We have our cars for the style of them and the characteristics which makes them unique from the rest. I bought my MX-5 because it handles well and it has the feel of an old school roadster, whereas some people might want a Corvette because it's obviously a nice looking sports car with an LS engine. However, these stats guys, they think that the 0 to 60 and top speed is everything, and they're always trying to prove to other people why their car, or sometimes it's ridiculous, sometimes it's not even their car, they're just trying to prove why another car is better than the other person's car, and it becomes just this massive contest on which car's better, when in reality we all buy our cars for different reasons. And I mean, I've been lucky enough to drive an R35 GTR around a track, and it was it was so much fun. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was the most fun I've ever had. However, I've also got to drive a Honda Civic Type R around track, and I actually preferred the Type R. It was actually more fun for me having less power and rolling through the gears with a manual gear stick. And personally, I much more prefer having less power and trying to get as most out the engine as you possibly can. And I mean, come on, with an EP3 Type R, it's the VTEC, you know, come on, it's so much fun. But it's weird because the Type R is just a hot hatchback, and I mean, well, the R35 GTR is literally a supercar, so you would think I would enjoy that more. But this is exactly what I mean. It's all down to personal preference. It's not all about top speed and 0 to 60. Without sounding too cringe, it's about how a car makes you feel, not about how fast it goes. The next type of car guy is probably the worst because I just think it's so toxic. And I'm talking about the car guys who like to critique other people's cars to their face. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm all for constructive criticism and feedback. Like, when people give me, you know, feedback about my videos in my comments, you know, it's really appreciated because a lot of the time it can be really helpful and it's actually useful. You know, I can actually do something with that feedback and improve my videos. And when people are negative, it just comes across as insecure, which is exactly the same in the car community. Like, it's always the people with just the grocery getters or like the A to B cars who have nothing but negative things to say about other people's cars. And the thing is, right, I'm not saying that you can't say anything about people's cars. Like, if they're having a maintenance issue, it's good to give them that feedback because it will help them out. However, if someone saves up for a new set of wheels and they absolutely love them, but someone says a negative comment about them, it's just not very nice. And I do think the car community as a whole is one of the weirdest communities ever because people can be so nice to you but also so horrible to you at the same time. And without sounding too corny and cringe, we want to build a community that actually helps each other out and doesn't always put each other down, because I feel like it's just sometimes a massive contest. Like, for some reason cars are so egotistical and we just need to chill out a bit. I feel like one thing that car guys do that we don't even realise, I mean, I've definitely done this before, is we'll make a positive comment on someone's car, but after saying the positive comment we'll be like, but it, you know, but this or but that. And the thing is, right, there is no issue with making the positive comment and just leaving it at that, because at the end of the day you're just trying to find a reason to criticize something. And I get it because I do it all the time, but I feel like it's the one thing in the car community everyone does. Let me know in the comments though if there's any other sort of toxic traits of car guys that I've forgotten about. And if you did find some enjoyment in this video, please consider subscribing. It is free and you might as well. And if you like cars, feel free to check out these videos too, because, you know, you might find some enjoyment in these. Thank you for watching though, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao for now.